Now using it on my second side here, you can see this little tiny gap I've got between my clamp and the side. That gives me the ability to pull it tight and make sure that I have a square edge this way. That's perfect. Alright, I'm cutting my sides to length. I've got to stop down at the end there and push this up against tight against that stop. And I use this clamp here to pull this tight to the fence. I was going to use this one out here, but it has a tendency to move on me a little bit. This way I know it's, because I can't see the whole edge here, I know it's tight to the fence now. So I'll hold it down and run it through. .84 inches, right on the money. Okay. All right, another dry fit here. Let's see how this goes this time with it. Piece is a little shorter. Don't know if I'm going to have that much time. We'll see, I guess. Alright, before I glue them up, I want to take and sand the front edges and remove these saw marks as best I can. Now, most of this is flush. There are some inconsistencies here and there. And I'm not worried about obviously I want to keep it as straight as possible, but if I get, like here I've got, you know, this is up just a hair, I'm going to smooth that out. But I want to get this, I want this show face to be reasonably, not reasonably, I want it to be looking nice so that when I put some finish on it, you don't see all these saw marks. Now I don't really care about the back. So I'm just going to leave that alone. And then I'll do the same thing to the show faces on the shelves. And then when I glue it up, I'll be concerned only with one edge being flush, and that'll be the front. The back, I can deal with the inconsistencies there. If the shelf is a little bit wider or a little bit narrower, you're not going to notice that. So I've got, what I did was I set it up on a set of blocks here and here, and then clamped it together. So now it's nice and stable, it's not going anywhere. These are acting as, these clamps are acting as a right angle to keep it from falling over. So, alright, it feels pretty good. I've got a low spot right here on the third board from the front, and a low spot back here in this corner. I'm going to keep going with the 80, and I've got a little bit of work to do out here on this end as well. Yeah, this third board from the front, as you see it, right through from here to there. So I'll just keep working this a little bit more. I think I've been at this about 30 minutes, but that is tremendously, makes a tremendous difference. That just as smooth as can be. I went to 150. I didn't stay on it that long, but that's nice. That is a nice smooth edge. And I forgot to mention this, but the inside edges are facing each other. So if I did happen to go over the edge one way or the other, that's going to be on the outside, so we're good there. Just a little bit down here in this corner, and that this board, the third board from this side, is beautiful. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll gang the shelves together and do the front edges of those as well. And then I can think about gluing this thing together. All right, I glued the bottom side to the shelves. This top side has got the two outside dominoes in it, and I'm just using it as a caul right now to clamp it. It's I've checked it for square, just each individual shelf, and it's very reasonable. I'll put it that way. I got a few of them that are dead nut square, and then I got a couple that are just a little out. And I don't know what's going on there, but it's fine. So I'm going to let this sit for probably a good hour. Come back and clean up some of this residual glue that I've got coming out here, and then put this other side on. Now that's going to be the time tester right there, because once I have to put glue in all of these, and then line it up and clamp it down. So it's going to be like I said, kind of a little heart pounding event to get that all done and slapped together. I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, I let this sit overnight, and I think the good thing about this is that maybe this won't be so difficult to put on, because now these shelves are rigid. I did go along and check these shelves for flush on the bottom and the top, but the top I can manipulate still. And a couple of them did slide on me just a hair, either forward or back, but I'll deal with that with some sanding. I think that'll clean up pretty easily. Let's just see how this comes off. That's good. Now let's just take a dry run and see how it goes back on. These shelves being fixed in place. Yeah, they're still going to need it went on pretty easily. A couple of little love taps, and then some positioning on clamps as I do that and go on down the line. So maybe it won't be so bad. Okay, a couple things. I got it put back together, that's not a problem. But here is one underneath this caul. As I was putting in these dominoes, I had it laying on my drawers here instead of on my tabletop. And as I hammered that caul in there, or hammered that domino in there, I busted through the veneer. I didn't come all the way through, but I popped it up. So I hammered it back down. I'll have to do a bit of a repair there, I'm sure. Then there was one other one, but that one I got pounded back down enough. It wasn't as bad, I'll put it that way. And so I think that that'll be okay, but there's a lesson learned there. Make sure that when you're doing something like this and you're pounding those dominoes in, and you want to make sure they get seated, make sure you got something behind it. So we'll see how it looks once I get the clamps off here in a little while. All right, after removing the caul, I'm pleasantly surprised that this laid down pretty well. I think the combination of the caul pushing down and the clamp pressure, and then the hydraulic pressure of the glue probably wanting to seep back up into that area, has kind of bound everything together, and it looks, you know, I can feel like a raised grain there, but it looks good. And I can't even find the other one. I'm looking around here and I think that, well, maybe this is it right here. That feels pretty decent as well. So all in all, just looking down the side, it looks good. So I'm gonna just hit this with a little sandpaper. And we got some 180 over here somewhere. There it is. I'm going to use the used part of it here. Well, that's gonna be all right.